about that.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. Yourself?
Rodney Gaines.
Delonte Butler.
All right, Rodney Gaines. All right. Guys, have a seat. And you all are here for your second interview.
Okay.
Help desk specialist, okay? So let's just jump right into it. Mr. Williams, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a recent graduate of Nova University. I obtained my associate's degree. Also, this past December, I was in the Hope Project, by way of DCU Tech, and there I received my CompTIA A+. Now I'm working towards my Network Plus, also my Security Plus, and I'm eager to learn more about the IT field.
Okay, all right, excellent. And Mr. Butler.
Well, my name is Delonte Butler. I'm also a recent graduate of the Hope Project through DCU Tech and UPO. I recently acquired my A+ certification as well, and I'm also pretty eager to learn about the IT field, more specifically networking.
Okay, all right, great. Well, tell me, Mr. Butler, a little bit more about your training in the IT field.
Okay, well, most of the training was specifically done to achieve the A+ certification. So it was basic network forensics and Microsoft desktop environment, all the basic stuff, hardware, software.
Okay. All right. And Ms. Williams, your IT training, tell me a little bit more about it.
Well, in the Hope Project, we learned to service help desk, but we also learned a little about ticketing software, Remedy, SpiceWorks, a little bit of Windows Server, Office. I can't think of anything else, but we did a lot of software developmental skills for the workplace.
Okay. All right. Good. Ms. Williams, give me some detailed information about your work experience in the IT field.
Well, I helped configure the whole project's network system so the computers can speak to each other, set up printers, fax, the wireless network so it can be received at a radius distance further outside of the whole project. I've also worked various with home computers, family computers, different things like that. So I have a little prior knowledge, but I'm eager to learn more because it's always an advancing field.
Okay. All right. Mr. Butler, how about you? Some of your work experience.
Well, a lot of my work experience deals with audio technology. I did a lot of audio tech on my own, audio engineering. I worked at this, I assisted working at this place called the Art Lab down at the Smithsonian. So it was like a team space where teenagers came to do things like Illustrator and Pro Tools and Photoshop, stuff like that. So I was assisting them with Pro Tools and stuff like that. So I always ran into like driver errors. So basically any kind of desktop errors, software errors and stuff like that I had to deal with, as well as the A+ certification training.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Butler, at this company, we like to think of ourselves as a team working towards a common goal. So how do you feel about working in a team environment?
I feel pretty comfortable working in a team environment. To elaborate on that, I usually always take a leadership position. Like I like to, get people together, like inspire people. Project managing, I'm always good with leading people. At my old job, I was a certified trainer, so I had to train people that came in on the on the stations and everything. So.
Okay. All right. And what about you, Mr. Williams? How do you feel about working in a team environment?
Team environment is very, very comfortable with me because I feel that two brains worth more than one. So we can all come in for one. We have all one common goal. We all come in with different ideas. That's even great because we can assist each other, helping for that one goal and make it better than what it originally was. And as well, I like to delegate and lead. I might not have the strengths in one area, but I can see others. I might have that talent, and I like to assign, and we all come together.
Okay. All right. Great. Let me ask you, starting with you, Mr. Williams, what experience do you have showing people how to operate how to use a new operating system?
Well, I like to first get hands-on experience with it, so I would not have false information explaining it to my colleagues. So I like to, get in and learn about the product best to my knowledge, and I'll delegate and show them how to use it. But as long as if they can show me, that's beautiful because we're teaching each other teamwork. So I like to be hands-on with mine. showing something new in the operating system at least.
Okay. And Mr. Butler, what about you? What experience do you have showing people how to use a new operating system?
Well, I'm going to refer back to my experience at the art lab. A lot of the teams that came in weren't too familiar with Mac operating system, so I had to show them how to use that, how to navigate that GUI, that graphical user interface, as well as teach them the software that they wanted to use. So it's kind of like a two-part thing.
Okay, all right. Have you, excuse me, worked in an environment with where you dealt with confidential information?
No.
No, you haven't. Okay. How about you, Mr. Williams?
No, I have not.
No. Okay. All right. Mr. Butler, describe to me what a top-notch customer service experience with you would be like.
Getting the job done as quickly as possible. Me specifically, I like to make sure the customer wants to come back to me. You know, I want them to feel like when I call for another problem, I want to speak to that gentleman because he was quick, he was concise, he was articulate. You know, I got my problem done. I may have, hypothetically speaking, I may have been upset when I initially called, but now, you know, I feel like everything's smooth sailing.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Williams, top-notch customer service experience with you, what would that be like?
It would be providing the customer with the best overall experience I could possibly give them. So if they call and they have a problem, I want them to call back and say, hey, I want to speak to that representative that helped me the last time. So providing the best customer service makes the company look good and also makes me look good as well, knowing that I provided them with the best service and they also came back to have our service as well.
Okay. All right, great. Tell me about a time when you had to deal with a hostile customer or caller, and how did you handle the issue, and is there anything you would have done different?
Well, this one gentleman, I was fixing his laptop, and he had a virus, and he was very frustrated and gyrate about this virus, and it was shutting off, and he couldn't use the internet. So I had to calm him down and explain to him that the virus comes from some, as I would like to say, some questionable websites. And I had to explain to him that going to these websites open you up to these viruses and spywares. And so I advised him to have an antivirus, be careful of those websites you go to, and make sure that you take care of your computer, not just cutting it off, using proper removal of certain devices. Just had the overall speak in a tone where he can understand and make common ground.
And you, Mr. Butler, tell me about a time when you had to deal with a difficult customer or caller, and how did you handle the issue, and is there anything you would have done different?
Is it okay if I give an example outside of IT?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, I used to work at a sandwich shop called Potbelly, and this customer, she was very particular about the toppings and the condiments on her sandwich, and we worked near government buildings and everything, so you know they were all walking distance to our store. So she came back. Well, I gave her sandwich, and she walked back to her office, and she had to walk all the way back because she said there were too many onions on the sandwich. So she was highly upset because she had to walk all the way back to the store, which was probably like a half a mile away. And you know, I just told her, I'm sorry about that. You know. You did. She wanted onions, but I just assured her that, you know, I'm sorry that I didn't make the sandwich to your liking. I offered her a free cookie because we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to, you know, compensate for, you know, rectify the situation. So I offered her a free cookie or a free beverage. She was still upset, but, you know, I made sure that I didn't attack her, you know, didn't make her feel like, you know, you said onions, it was too much, blah, blah, blah. You know, I just made sure she was like, you know, I'm sorry, you had to walk back here. All that, so.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, guys, last question for you. How would you prioritize these three situations from the most important to least important, and why? The first one is the CEO can't print a document. The second one is no one in the company can access the internet. And the third is the video conference equipment in a conference room is not working. So again, how would you prioritize that from the most important to the least important, and tell me why? So we'll start with you first, Mr. Butler.
Okay, well, I would say E is the top priority because if no one in the company can access the internet, very little can get done, if anything, depending on what kind of company it is. I would say D next, the CEO, handles, a lot of, well, he handles all the top stuff in the company, so priority for him to be able to print what he needs to print. Of course, depending on the company. But, and F would be the last, because there are other ways to communicate besides video conference. So there are alternatives to communicate if, like, that's a priority.
Okay. And Mr. Williams, how about you?
Well, E will be my first one because if the network's down, that means the CEO can't print his documents. So without the internet being up, I don't see how he can print any documents. So for D to be taken care of, I have to take care of E. And once E's taken care of, he will come right next priority. And D, like he was saying, there's other ways. We can also do phone conferencing. We can also set up a chat where everyone's in it. So that would be my way of setting up.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Well, those are the only questions I have for you guys. So, Mr. Williams, start with you. You have any questions for me?
Okay. You working for DC Youth Tech, what would be my role coming in that I can jump on as soon as possible, that I can help better the environment around?
Okay. In this position, what we're looking for with the new individual is really to kind of help us with our workload in terms of the volume of calls that we get. So that'll kind of be the primary, your primary responsibility, just helping us to rectify a lot of these calls that we're getting and solve some of the issues for our staff here.
Okay. And by doing this, would this be a way of creating a new system where everyone, the workload is divided, or what? Can you give me more detail?
Yeah, well, essentially, you're set up in a workstation with a phone, so the system is set up where it selects representatives to take certain calls. So, of course, if your phone rings, you're the one who takes the call and then works with that employee to help them, whatever their situation is. If they can't access the internet or they've, locked themselves out of their computer, whatever their situation is, that's basically what we need you to do. And so we do actually keep track of the number of calls you get and what's resolved, things of that nature, just to make sure everybody's kind of getting an even caseload, or workload, should I say.
How would you rate the help desk that's already here, like their service?
I think it's pretty good. Again, we're just undermanned right now, so that's kind of the big issue. So we can do better, but I think doing better means putting a couple more bodies on board.
Understandable.
Yep. Any other questions? Okay, Mr. Butler.
Well, I have two. Is the IT department a tiered environment? Like, is it like an escalation process, or are there like specialized IT workers? Like they handle network and one handles printers? And
Yeah, no, it is a tiered environment, and even to add to that, there's definitely room to grow. So again, you guys are boarding at the entry level, but there are positions where you can definitely be promoted to based on your work, habit, work ethic, and availability. And we prefer to promote from within. So as opportunities come up, you guys will be the first to know. We look from within first before we go outside.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
And my last question was, what are the most common issues that you guys have here in DOES?
Most common, believe it or not, a lot of people get locked out of their computers a lot. I don't know why, but that's
understandable.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the most common, and probably printer issues.
How big? Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
How big is the security, like your security system on your networks?
I couldn't tell you that. I'm not, the actual IT person. I mean, there's some things I do know, but in terms of, specifically, I couldn't tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah, but those are probably the two biggest things. People locking themselves out of computers, and then printing issues, which is typically, a network issue, because it's usually a cluster of folks that can't print for whatever reason. Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. It was a pleasure meeting you guys.
You too.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.